Hello there guys, welcome back to a new video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be revealing to you a new car I've bought. Again, she's a bit of a high miler, she's a bit of a shitbox as you can probably tell by the thumbnail picture, but let's turn the camera around, let's reveal her. So yes, I have bought a 2007 Suzuki Swift Sport, and yeah, it's quite an interesting story behind this one, but I'll get on to that later on in the video. But let's just go around the car, talk about the overall condition, I'll show you the mileage, all that sort of jazz, and yeah, then we'll take it out for a quick drive, which is when I'll tell you how this car came about, and just end it there really. So yeah, she is an absolute minger at the moment. I haven't cleaned it, I haven't touched it, I haven't done anything to it since I've had it, and I've had the car around about a month now. So let's just start off with the front. The front actually looks quite smart, looks really presentable. There is a couple of marks, like you can see on the corner of that bumper there. The headlights really do need a buff. They are hazy as anything and actually really useless in the dark. So yeah, moving around to the wheels. Just very quickly, average condition, loads of curb rash on all of them. They're, but what do you expect for a car of this mileage, this age? That's probably the worst one, typical curbside front. The rear ones, even though they're dirty, they ain't actually too shabby, so that one's okay. And this one's almost immaculate, to be honest with you. So yeah, pretty average condition. We'll move down the side of the bodywork. As you can see, it's actually quite nice and straight. One thing that does bother me is there is a bit going on with this rear quarter, because this door doesn't actually line up properly, and there is, under this dirt, there is a slight crease here. So there's something going on here, but it's barely noticeable unless you really stare at it. Moving on to the back, she is absolutely grim. If you don't write a slogan in your dirt, who even are you? Just saying, you've got to write them slogans. But yeah, moving around to the back, it is completely and utterly bog standard. I don't think there's actually really any damage here whatsoever. I have noticed this, but to be honest, the back is actually really straight. It's not too shabby whatsoever. And then this side's probably actually the worst side, to be honest with you. It's just loads of like little marks and scratches and, you know, bits like this. Oh, I saw it earlier, but on the front wing, yeah, on the front wing you've got an array of like random scratches and marks. But yeah, overall, as a whole, this car's actually not too bad, especially considering its mileage. Now again, please do excuse how grim this car is. Like I said, I haven't cleaned it. It is a bit of a health hazard in here at the moment. But onto the interior, and the first thing that greets you is the disgusting dirt marks down the door, closely followed by the tear in the seat. Now this is actually quite a common thing. These bolsters are prone to go in, they're prone to going up here, but thankfully this one's all right. But look at this seat, man. This seat's just, it's had loads of fucking belt buckles and buttons on your jeans just dug into it over the years. Questionable staining on both seats. To be fair, the passenger seat ain't actually in bad condition. And in the back, although dirty, the seats are actually all right. The seat belts are chafed from where they've been caught when the back seats have been folded down. Typical fucking thing, really. Plastics are all scratched up, but again, I'll explain why. shortly. And then if we sit in the car, there is this horrible thing going on here with the steering wheel. The lever's just essentially delaminating itself. Moving across the dash, again it's dirty but it's honest. The dash ain't actually in too bad a condition. We've got an upgraded Chinese Android head unit, which is absolutely fucking rubbish. It will never tell the correct time, because if you set the time, it will just reset to 23:58 every time you turn the car back on. Absolutely ridiculous. It takes 7 years for it to fire up, then a further 2 years to connect to your Bluetooth. It does have internet features like Google Chrome, YouTube, stuff like that, which is cool, but you've got to have internet, which means using your hotspot. Yeah, it's an okay unit. I don't like the fact that it protrudes from the dash. I think it does look a bit stupid, but it is what it is. And below that, we have air conditioning, which doesn't work, which is annoying. Well, I say it's annoying. I've never really had a car with working AC, so I can't really say that. You've got your usual steering wheel controls. This is literally it. You've got electric mirrors, electric windows, electric locks. You've got keyless entry and keyless start as well, which is really weird. I'll show you that feature before we go out for a drive. Passenger seat, ignore all this rubbish. Like I said, it's a minger. Passenger seat hasn't actually worn too badly, although it does have a really deceiving cut down here. I don't know why. Don't know why it's even happened. And the headlining is absolutely minging. It is absolutely hanging in here. But yeah, other than that, oh, that's another thing as well. The glove box is a bit droopy. But other than that, in here, minus everything being utterly destroyed, it's actually not too bad. And I do also have to say, there is a really cool feature with this car, which I absolutely love. I need to put my foot on the brake for this. If you ever need to pull this centre console up, I'll show you how easy it is, right? Handbrake down, yank it up, there you go. Fucking loose. Sorted, job done. No, Suzuki's finest build quality, that is. But yeah, let's get out one more time, have one final look around it, and then we'll hit the road. So yeah, despite this car looking like an absolute shit tip, an absolute shed, although I do think it will clean up quite nicely, it actually runs and drives really, really well. I really enjoy this car. We'll fire it up in a minute, get that all over and done with. But this car don't actually run too bad. I do quite like it, although it really is not for me. I'm not a fan of small cars anymore. I love my space. I love a big vehicle. So this really is not for me, and unfortunately that does let it down. But yeah, no, this is going to clean up, I think, not too badly, because I have seen this car clean, and the paintwork is straight for its mileage. Like, the mileage is utterly ridiculous on this thing. You would not believe what it is. Talking of which, let's get in just a sec, and I'll show you it. But first of all, if I can find the key, this is the key. I've got two of these, both of them work, and it's incredible, right? Because if I'm outside, listen to this. This is, again, Suzuki's finest. Noisy door lock on the passenger side. But yeah, keyless entry, keyless start. I shall show you keyless start now. So as you can see, the key is here. I'll put it down here. Literally grab the ignition barrel, and she starts like an absolute gem. Literally fires up first time, every time, no resistance, no nothing. And look at that mileage, 141,000 miles. Or is it? Let's put you up in my really shit new phone mount. I say this is shit because I've literally just had to run and buy this, because I lost my other one in my house move. But let's put you up there. Let's flip you around. We'll hit the road for a bit. Oh yeah, check engine light. That is for cat efficiency. I swear, like, every Swift has its flipping check engine light on for this reason. My mate had one of these. It had the check engine light for cat efficiency. I've seen a few listed on Facebook and eBay and all that for cat efficiency. It's almost like the catalytic converters on these things are made of Swiss cheese. It is ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, let's chuck you up there, pray you don't move, because I have tested this phone mount and the phone sort of does this over time. So if I end up talking to you and I'm like that, it's that is shit. But yeah, let's chuck you up there. We'll hit the road. I'll talk to you about how this car has came about. Talk to you about why I've got it, what I plan to do with it, and yeah, whatever else really. Right, so let's hope this this bloody works, shall we? Jesus, I forgot how big these windscreens are. It's like I'm sitting like 5 miles away. Yeah. So this car, it came about because if you guys remember, I did a video on a van that I had. One video and that was it. And if you remember rightly, I said that I had some plans with that van. Well, basically, what I was going to do is I was going to go self-employed. And you know, I loved the van. I started doing a bit of work in it. You know, like earning myself a couple of bob from it. Just cash in hand stuff, you know, as you do, just being on the graft. Started doing all of that. And then the week of its MOT came, because if you remember, I think I did mention it, it came with quite a short MOT. The week of the MOT came, and Jesus, where am I going? This way, I think. And the car, in every way, shape and form that it could have done, decided to brake. It had an issue with the steering. I think the steering rack, or the universal joint on the steering rack, was on its way out. It just randomly broke when I was parking up one night. Like I heard a snap, and then after that the steering was just loose as anything. The lower arm had completely destroyed itself. The oil light started coming on. I don't know why. It fell apart on the week of its MOT. The week of its MOT was literally right on top of when I was moving out. So it was a bit of a shit show. Also on top of moving out, Chloe's car had its MOT. So I was like, well, I can't afford to put both cars through its MOT and move out. So I was like, something's got to give. Now one of my mates, Brad, you might remember him from the channel, he had the white VXR Astra. He's been looking for a van for work for ages. He's a mechanic, as you guys probably well know. He's a mechanic, he's an MOT tester, and he wants to do a bit of private work on the side, earn himself a bit more bob. I mean, who doesn't nowadays? And he had been looking for a van for ages. And after all of this has happened with my van, I was like, fuck it, it's got to go. I can't afford it. I can't afford to put it back on the road and move out and do Chloe's car. Cannot afford it whatsoever. So I messaged him, I said, look mate, so the MOT runs out this week. These are all the issues I know of with the van. Do you want it? Yes or no? And he was like, do I want it? Fucking too right, I do. So like, alright then. I was like, 800 quid. He was like, why don't I just give you the Swift? I was like, actually, yeah. Give me the Swift, because I still need to get myself to work and back. And, well, yeah, it's going to be awkward doing it in one car. So, basically, I traded the combo for this Swift. And now this Swift is mine. So let's talk to you a little bit more about what this Swift has to offer. So as you well know, this Swift is on 141,000 miles. And then I've said, or is it? Now the reason for me saying that is because, I don't know if this was in any videos back in the day when I was working with Brad. I really cannot remember. But Brad bought this car really cheap for his partner, and it had a knocking engine, or a tapping engine, I don't know. But basically he drove it till the engine fell out pretty much, and didn't want to run anymore. So he did that, he pulled it into his work, and yeah, he stripped it all down and he's freshly rebuilt this engine. This engine's only actually got 11,000 miles on it now. Since the rebuild. He rebuilt it at 130k, it's now on 141k. He rebuilt it at the start of the year. He's done an oil change on it after I think like 5,000 or 6,000 miles, so I'll probably do another oil change on it at some point soon. But yeah, so basically I've got myself, if you'd really like to say it, an 11,000 mile Swift in trade for a van. Which really ain't that much of a bad deal, I don't think. I do feel really bad, and I did say this to Brad, like, I was like, mate, I can't really let you do this because the van was just in such poor condition. I know that both vehicles had their issues, you know, this isn't exactly perfect. The van was far from perfect. So, you know, it was fair enough trade, it was a fair enough thing. But I said to myself, I just feel really bad because you're giving me a mover and a groover that's still legal on the road, and I'm giving you something that could potentially kill you. And he was like, mate, don't worry about it, I'll fix it up. And within 48 hours, he had the car fixed. He had the van fixed. It was back on the road, fresh MOT, issues gone, well, most of them. And now he daily drives it and he loves it. But yeah, so that's where the van went, that's how I got this Swift. But let's talk about how it runs and drives. So this car actually runs and drives really, really well. It's nice and smooth. The gearbox and clutch is actually nice. Now, if you remember, Chloe had a Swift, she had a 1.3 GL, and that was horrible to drive. The clutch was like non-existent. The gearbox didn't feel like it was going into any gears, it just felt like you was moving it around in the tunnel. Yeah, it really didn't feel nice to drive whatsoever. But this, I do have to say, it feels a lot better than Chloe's car did when I drove that. Oh, that's another issue with this thing as well. I can't actually see where I'm going at the moment because the windscreen's dirty and the washer pump is packed up. So that's another thing that needs addressing on this. But with regards to performance, I'm just coming off of a roundabout. I'm in second gear. I'm going to put my foot down. The gearing on this thing is just so long. It is so long in every fucking gear. But the thing is, it's not particularly fast either. I mean, it has 125 horsepower, but it feels like it's more like got 100. Like, it really does not have very much poke. Down in the lower rev range, it is completely and utterly dead. It ain't until you get to like the last 1500 RPM of rev range that this car actually seems like it comes alive. It really is, like, shocking. I don't really like it, to be honest. But I don't really drive it to drive it hard. Also as well, because I think because of the cat, it absolutely chuffs smoke when you put your foot down, or steam, I don't know. But I think it's over-fueling itself, because I don't know if you can see it in the background of the video, but you could just see lashings of smoke coming out the back of this thing when you put your foot down. When you drive it normally, it's fine, but when you put your foot down, it fucking chuffs. Don't know why. It's always done it. Nothing's really wrong with it, apart from the cat. So, God knows, I don't know. I know the head gasket ain't bad because I've checked the coolant, checked the oil, and there's no telltale head gasket signs. God, I hate this roundabout. This roundabout is so awkward to pull out on. There we go. Let's go. Yeah, as I was saying, it just feels so bloody dead to me, this car. Like, it don't feel like how I think this thing should perform. I mean, if you guys have one of these, and you guys know how these perform, let me know. Oh. I don't know if you can hear that through film either, but you can hear an ever so slight squeak. I think the brakes are binding, which is irritating, but it is what it is. Yeah, this car's just got so many little niggly bloody issues with it. It's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. But I'll try and get some of them rectified. But yeah, anyway, basically, I got this car for a stopgap. Because obviously I needed something to still run me to and from work whilst I didn't have a vehicle I wanted or needed. So that is why I've ended up with this. Can't really complain about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's a high mileage car. You can't really expect much else from a high mileage, low budget Japanese car. But it does exactly what it says on the tin. It takes me to and from work, it runs and drives, it stops, it starts. I I'd need to put an MOT on it because that's due in February. Obviously at the moment we're in December, so I'd need to put an MOT on this. Sort out that brake binding issue because that's very irritating. It does it a lot of the time now, I don't know why. Jesus Christ, it's busy around here today. But yeah, no, other than that, she ain't that bad of a motor, I don't think. I reckon it'll clean up very well. I reckon once we get these couple of little gremlins sorted, once we get it through an MOT, it should be all good. And it'll make a nice tidy little car for someone. Could potentially be someone's first car. Or I'm gonna sell it and list it and advertise it as a track project. Because I think that's probably the best route for this thing now. It's high mileage, it's not in the best condition. I just think it'll make a fun track day car for someone that wants one on a budget. Or just, you know, like a takeaway delivery car, something like that, I don't know. But yeah, that's how I'm going to list it when I sell it. This is probably the only video I'm going to make on it. I might do another video once I've got it all done, got it all sorted, talk you through what we've done, show you how it looks. But yeah, that is the introduction to my high mileage Swift Sport. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to slap a like on it. Comment down below what you think of these cars. Do you have one? Do you have any tips for me? Do you know what any common issues are? You know, whatever the case may be, just drop me a drop me a comment in the comment section below, and more importantly, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm about to film a back-to-back recording, so I need to find somewhere to pull over. But yeah, catch you guys in the next one, which will be the last video for 2023. Shall see you in that one.